Intervention video for the Year 4-5 using visual frames to improve children's confidence and ability to access 2-3 mark inference questions. Why is literacy important? Providing every child with the skills they need to read and write well is a fundamental pillar of our education system. Developing strong literacy skills has a positive impact across the curriculum. It is crucial in influencing the opportunities children and adults have available to them throughout their lifetime. So the impression, evidence, quote framework. So the purpose of this intervention is to improve children's confidence and ability to access 2- and 3-mark inference questions. So context. As a Year 6 teacher for 12 years, I have noticed that questions in the end of Key Stage 2 SATs are presented as a longer response in the form of a speech bubble with many lines to fill, and are often left blank by low attaining student pupils or filled with waffle or no evidence by higher attaining pupils. That's a quote from Miss Davison, Year 6 teacher. She finds that higher attaining pupils need to be answering the majority of questions to gain greater depth at the end of Key Stage 2, and lower attaining pupils need at least have an approach where they can gain 1 mark in longer responses. All children need to be able to have skills to read between the lines when they transition to secondary school, and this strategy can begin in lower Key Stage 2 and building confidence every year up to Year 6. So we're testing this in Year 4 and 5. And a big thank you to Staindrop Church of England Primary School in Durham for sharing the intervention and the resources for the project. The impression, evidence, quote framework. So over time, I have adapted and changed the P, which is the point, evidence, explain approach to give children a structure to answer these types of questions, allowing children of all abilities to access them. In weekly guided reading sessions, I've explicitly taught this written approach. Through the whole class reading and through high quality English texts, I model the approach verbally and encourage children to do the same. So that's Miss Davison, Year 6 teacher from Staindrop Primary School. So the impression, evidence, quote, if needed approach. So the example of the visual frame is based on historic Key Stage 2 SATs questions that look like the ones below, which are the 3 marks. In guided reading sessions, this is the visual frame that is shared with children to help structure their responses. So you'll see an example of this in the resource folder. And it is the impression, 1 word, the evidence, which is the because, and the quote, if needed. This builds up a sentence structure approach when the questions are presented slightly differently like the ones below. Children's responses will go from looking like this, where they achieve 1 mark, to this, where they achieve 3 marks. This approach is to encourage children to be more concise with their written responses, eliminating the waffle and ensuring that they are hitting the criteria for multiple mark questions, whether this is to gain 1 mark or 3 marks in a question. Children will also develop the skills using the frame below. They will develop skills to skim and scan the text. They will text mark when reading to help find quotes, and they will become more confident at summarizing what they have read. So next steps, move on to the implementation overview video to find out how to implement the evaluation in your school.